Okay, good evening once again. I want to actually appreciate your presence today. It's another opportunity for us to learn. And I want to appreciate each and every one of you that submitted the assignment. We had a very, very good feedback through that assignment. Perhaps you are viewing this platform on YouTube. I want to request that you kindly subscribe and click the notification button so that you'll be able to see updates or be notified on any of our training videos that may post at any point in time. Thank you very much. So the first question talks about insert a column in between column F and column G. As we learned the other time, this is column F. Oh. Excuse me. Okay, between column F and column G. So if I want my column to be between column F and column G, which column will I highlight? Is it column G or column F? So you can unmute and answer the question. Hello, am I audible? Hello?
Something is covering your screen.
Oh, yeah, okay. It's a dialog box. Okay, who can answer the question? Which of the columns will I highlight for me to insert another column?
G.
Is it G? Thank you. So I have my column here. So the next question reads, okay, to name it weight in grams. So the variable name is supposed to be weight in grams. Okay, it's the variable name with the unit is longer than the width provided by the column. So I'll need to double click this end of the column to have the width of the desired column adjusted. Okay, the next instruction.
Question, you wrote CM.
Do you want? I can't hear
I
you
said
very
the
well.
question, what you imputed was CM.
Yeah, apologies for that. It's supposed to be gram, supposed to be GM, not CM.
Okay.
But I hope we understand.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay. The second one, with use of appropriate formula, populate column weight in gram. That's a new column by converting the values in weight kilogram to gram. So who can explain how to get that one done? You can unmute and explain. Then I will follow the instruction. So I think that will make it a little more participatory. Okay, let someone explain. How do I get that one done?
Yeah, kg to gram, kilogram to gram is multiplied by 1,000.
Okay.
So
How do I say the formula?
Equal to.
I will double click.
Double click.
Okay. Equal to.
Then equal to.
Okay.
You highlight the kg, the weight in kg.
I will highlight the entire column.
No,
or
just the 66, the first one.
Okay, 66. That's a cell C2.
Yeah, that's C2.
Okay.
Multiplied by, that is times.
Okay.
1000.
1000. Enter, right?
Enter. Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. Then the next instruction is to fill other cells in the column with that formula, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Actually, I appreciate that. Let me ask one question. Perhaps something happens tomorrow, or let me say even in 1 hour's time. And okay, someone made a mistake. There's no problem. Let's go together. Okay, let me ask this question that was not included in our assignment. Okay, let's assume your supervisor that had instructed that you should set this column in grams. Just quickly called back or sent an email that no, I don't want weight in gram anymore. So in what other units can we have weight?
Kilogram. No.
Yeah, we have kilogram already. So let's assume we want to change. My supervisor doesn't want a gram anymore. My supervisor wants something else. Okay. So let's assume my supervisor says that the weight should be multiplied by 100 and not 1000. I'm just trying to paint a very close scenario that we can easily relate to it. There's some situation where, not especially people in financial institution or in public health operation, there can be a situation where the factor with which you multiply or with which you influence coefficients or what have you that you use to manipulate a particular column might be changing periodically. Let's say instead of multiplying this one with 1000, we have a reason to multiply with 100. And let's say in about 2 weeks thereafter, we have an instruction to multiply it with 10,000. We have just 20 records here. So let's assume that we have almost 10,000 records on this spreadsheet. Is it the way we'll be manipulating over and over again? I mean, where you need to click one, multiply, set the formula against 1000, and now autofill the entire column. You know, there is a better way with which you can do this. Okay, so instead of inserting this factor with which you multiply the kilogram, we can create a separate cell. That separate cell would be it would be the place where we will make our adjustments. So let me run those through it. Probably I'll be able to explain it better. Okay, instead of 1000, we want to change the instruction now. So I want to back Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z. Okay, the instruction is removed now. Okay, let me create a separate place on my spreadsheet. Let me put 1000 there. So I'm creating a factor for multiplication in cell P3. Okay, when I come here, I double click, write equal to, and I click on the cell or the column that I want to manipulate. Then I fix the multiplication sign. Instead of typing 1000 by myself, I'll go to the place where I'd already inserted my multiplication factor. I'll click the 1000, then I'll press enter. With that same instruction, I will autofill. I will fill other cells in the column with that same instruction. Can you see what's happening? Can you see the difference?
Okay.
You realize it's not populating with the instruction. In the next module, we are going to learn on how to manipulate this command, how to manipulate this P2, with which if we click on this and multiply with this separate cell, we'll be able to have the command here, we'll be able to have the formula here, and we'll be able to fill all the column with our instruction. So our next module is going to autofill, and it's going to teach us that what we'll do is to lock this cell. When we lock the cell and we roll down the instruction, it will populate all the cells in this column with that instruction. So let's say perhaps something happens in 2 weeks' time, and there's a reason to change 1000 to 100. When you click on that one, on that P cell, P2 cells, you just change it to 100 and press enter. The entire instruction in G2 will automatically change. But let's assume about a month after, we need to change it to 10,000. 10, 1, 2, 3. And you press enter. The instruction, our output in G2 will automatically change. But in this case, if we have the instruction across the cells in the entire column, the same instruction we apply across both. So to the next module, let's watch out so that we'll be able to have that benefit. So, but for the level of the basics that we are handling presently, we will use our formula as we have learned it. So let me just come to the formula. I will remove P2. I'll change it to 1000. Now press enter. Then I will fill the entire column. I have my result. Okay, so let's move on. The next question: use the appropriate formula and populate column BMI using the values in weight and height. Okay, we can recall the formula for BMI, which is what and what? Weight in kilogram, right? Or height in kilogram. Which one comes first?
Weight in kilogram.
Okay.
Divided by height square.
By height, shift caps 2. Press enter. Is it correct?
Yes.
Okay, so that's awesome. So then we fill the other cells. Okay, I think it will be appropriate for us to reduce it to, let's say, 2 decimal places, right? So let's reduce it to 2 decimal places. Oh yeah, I'm waiting for your guide. Just give me the instruction. How do I change it to 2 decimal places?
The entire column.
I will right click right on the column.
The entire column.
Okay. Then I'll go to
Command cell.
okay.
You click on command cell.
Okay.
Then you go to number.
Okay.
Then the decimal place, I put okay. It's on 2 already.
Okay. Thank you. That is perfect. 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 Okay, that's beautiful. The next instruction. Use appropriate formula to populate columns AST divided by AST ALT ratio from values AST and ALT. Okay. Double click. Okay, Daniel, can another person lead this? I know it's what you have been doing. But let's just hear your voice. Daniel, let's hear your voice. Is it still there? Mr. Daniel Nwande. Apologies if my pronunciation is wrong, please. Okay. So let's do it together. I'll double click, right? Can another person lead? Moyolua.
All right, sir. You double click. Equal to.
Okay.
Equal to. Okay, then you click on cell I2.
That'll be
That's
AST.
I2. Yes, sorry. AST, sorry, F2, sorry.
It's okay.
Oh,
Got it.
divided by.
Okay.
Divided by H2.
So let's assume, okay, then I press enter. Awesome. Let's assume the instruction expects me to run the AST ratio in percentage.
Okay.
How do I go about that? Let me move to the.
You format the cell first.
Okay, I will first of all format it. I'll format it to percentage, right?
Yes, sir. You format it to percentage.
Okay, do you mean that I will need to format it to percentage before my formula?
That's what I'm thinking, sir.
Okay. Let's see the way it appears here. If we format it to percentage, automatically the format multiply everything by 100.
By 100, yes.
So that means that even while you have your formula, you can do the manipulation.
Oh.
So let's do that. Right click, format cell. Then we go to percentage. We don't want it in decimal places. Then press enter. Then we have it in percentages. Is this correct? 0.64 being converted to 64%.
Yes, it is. Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes,
Thank you. Thank you. So let's change it that these are expression is in okay. So let's another person lead us through albumin and globulin ratio. I hope that's the next question. Okay, still the same concept. Equal to albumin divided by globulin. Numbers to this one. Okay, the next instruction, calculate mean, mode, median. Okay, the first thing to calculate is mean. So mean is otherwise known as average. So let's start with the first one. Okay, the instructions to calculate the mean, mode, median, and sum of all data in columns albumin, weight, height, ALT, and AST. So can someone lead us how to do this with just one formula? With one formula. Just one formula.
One formula for the mean.
Yes. Whatever formula we use for weight.
That will be equal to double click. Then type AV.
Is that?
Then you type AV.
AV. Average.
Yes, average. Then you double click average. And then you click yes. Then you drag down.
Okay.
And
press enter.
Close the bracket.
So I hope this is what you did. You fill this instruction across. I'm coming. Let me quickly convert this one back to. So I will fill other columns along this record with the same formula. Am I right?
Yeah.
Is there any question about what I did? Hello?
I didn't do mine like that, but I get it. Makes the work faster.
You did your own one by one, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, but have you learned another thing now? You can,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
you can start with one and autofill across the row. Just the same way we can fill across the column, we can also fill across the row. And we have the same formula being filled in other columns that intersect with that row. So the same way, we can realize that this is easier and faster. So what's the next thing to do? Is it mode or median?
Median.
Okay. Is that Moyolua? Okay. Okay, can another person lead us through median? Can I call Mr. Lawa? Okay. Because of time, let me run through it. So I'll double click this particular portion, which is the first column with continuous variable. Press equal to sign. Then get the median formula or median function. Then fill it. Select the range of data that I want. I'll press enter to have my answer. Then I'll fill across both. Then I have my answer. I have my answers. So I don't need to move from one column, another column, another column and start setting that formula. So because if I should be doing that, then I'll be unnecessarily wasting the time. So the same thing applies to mode. Go to sign mode. So mode, M-U-L-T. Then there is mode single. Then there is this other mode.
Now, what's the difference between those functions?
Let's try a hand on it. I've never had cause to run through that. So let's read the instruction attached to each of them. The mode MULT returns a vertical array of the most frequently occurring. A vertical array of the most frequently occurring or repetitive value in an array or range of data. For your horizontal array, use transpose mode MULT, then the number. Okay, let's look at this other one. Mode CSNGL returns the most frequently occurring or repetitive value in array or a range of data. Returns a vertical array of the most frequently occurring or repetitive value in array of a range or a data. Did you see any difference?
Between the two functions, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, let's say it. So what's the difference?
The mode MULT
Okay.
is actually about the repetitive. It says it arranges the vertically repetitive values.
While the other one, you know, mode is still about the most occurring number in an array of data, isn't it? So I'll use mode SNGL command for this one. The two of them are right. But in my own observation, mode MULT talks about the instruction for both vertical and horizontal array of data, while the one that is a mode SNGL talks about vertical array of data. Isn't it?
Okay.
Okay, let's see it again. So let's read mode MULT returns a vertical array of the most frequently occurring, and that's mode, most frequently occurring, or most frequently repetitive value in array or range of data. Full stop. Then the second instruction, for a horizontal array, use transpose this instruction. There's need to look for TRAN and this instruction. Whereas in the other case, returns the most frequently occurring or repetitive value in an array or a range of data.
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay. So let's move on. There is no mode in this one. Albumin and globulin ratio. Did anyone get mode? Okay, this is 1.36. This is 1.36. Okay, maybe it's treating it as considering all the decimal places. Okay. Okay, did anyone get mode for albumin and globulin ratio? Let me check your work. Oh, your work didn't extend to that, please. Okay. I want to quickly check other works that I have here. Oh, okay. Quite a number of you didn't bother calculating mean and mode for those ratios.
And so you know that, like me now, I calculated per column.
Oh,
so
okay.
if it had been that we tracked it, we would have actually realized that.
Okay. It's okay, no problem. So for this one, it says the mode is not available. But I can recall if it says SPSS. SPSS will give you the lowest of all the possible modes you can have in an array of data, and just put a footnote for you. That's the lowest figure, though that's a lot of values in repetitive order, but this is the closest that you can have. That's an advantage we have from SPSS over Excel. Okay, AutoSum. This should be an easy one for us, right? So let's AutoSum. No, if you AutoSum, it's going to add the mean, mode, and media. You understand? So we need to specify the array of data that we want in that category. So we select the range of data that we want to AutoSum. Oh, that's the first time of trying that. Okay. So let's follow the normal stuff. Sum instruction. I hope this is what we did. If perhaps you did something different, please kindly notify us so that we can learn something new from you.
I use this function AutoSum.
Okay, you use the AutoSum button. So how did you issue the instruction? How did you do it? Okay.
Up, down, it has different, it has average, sum,
What did you say?
The AutoSum on this menu, on its own, at the upper of the sheet.
I can barely hear you. I don't know whether others can hear you. Your network is not too good. Okay. I think we can move on. I hope we've learned something from those exercise. Then there's another one, replace. Replace all male with 10, then all female with 11. We select. Excuse me. Going by the lesson length from the other experience, let's do the female first. Because we don't have female in male, but we have male in female. So let's run the female first. So replace all female with 11. Replace all. Okay, done. Then replace all male with 10. Yeah, seems smarter. Better than what we did in the last class. Is there any question about that? Okay, then we insert table. We have instruction to insert table. Okay, let's use this. We highlight the first cell here. In fact, many times, if my data is not too large, I'll first of all highlight the area where I want my table to be. Provided that I have just data of barely 20 or 24 records. And first of all, I will highlight like this. I will do something like this. Then I will instruct insert table. But in the case where you have a large number of data, you can just select the first cell. Then you instruct, but you should ensure that you don't miss the last cell when you're going to issue instruction. So our last cell is L24. L24. Okay, so let's insert table. Okay. Let's look closely. Look at this dialog box. It's asking whether we want to have a table from A1 to L23. It's excluding the 24. I mean, the row 24. So because we want row 24 to be included, so we're going to change it to 24. I'll click enter. So we have our table. So we can select different types of table that we desire from here. I like this type. Okay, okay. Then we can remove grid line. Let's remove grid line. Grid line should be under view. Deactivate, uncheck grid line. Then we have our table against the no line background. Looks a little fanciful, kind of. Okay. After that I've done that, okay, insert a row with colorful theme. With colorful theme field on the top.
Hey,
of
can
it.
you take that again, the table?
Okay, inserting the table, right?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm withdrawing the instruction. Okay. Like I said the other time, if you have large number of data, we have large volume of data, ensure you note the last cell, and our last cell in this case is L24. But in the situation where we have just about 24 records, You can highlight directly, highlight the area where you want your table to cover. So if you had highlighted the area where you want your table to cover, you just go to insert and you insert your table, just like this. So it's asking us that, are we sure that we want our table to run from A1 to L24? And second question, does your table have headers? That is the title of each of these variables. So I confirm that it has headers. Then I'll click. Then I have my table. If I desire to change my table from color blue to color whatever, black, green, whatever, I can do that. Then I have my table. Is it clear? So like I said in maybe the first or second session we had last time, the advantage of having table, if you look at the arrow here, we always have a button very close to the header. We always have a button here, we always have a button here. So the button has instruction for sorting and to filter. It gives us opportunity to sort. Maybe you want to sort from smallest number to the largest, or from the largest number to, or if you want to check or uncheck a particular content of your data, you can uncheck so that you have the remaining ones for your use, as the case might be. Like in this case now, let's do something here. All this, they are continuous variables. Okay, let's assume we want to sort this column. Okay, that's good. Let's use this column. So we have this column identification number from numbers 1 to 19. So let's assume we want to sort it from 19 to 1. Want to turn it upside down. So we can come to this button, we click on the button, you go to sort from largest to smallest. So it's taking our blank to be the largest because it doesn't have definition. So the blank is up, then followed by the highest of the numbers on that column, which is 19, 18. Every other data that correspond with each of these figure, with each of these identification number, will go together with the manipulation. So you can have your table counting from 19 to 1, as the case might be. You can see the reason why we're having ref. By the time we have changed the address, by the time we have changed the definition for each of these formula, like some, there is a particular address, there is a particular identification of the cell where our sum is supposed to be. By the time we have changed it, Excel cannot help himself anymore. Cannot. So that's the reason why he's now raising a caution that something is wrong with the formula. So let's return Excel back to where you can find the definition of its formula. We press Ctrl Z, it returns. So it's more or less like, just like we have in robotic programming, the level of intelligence is not, okay. Chidima, well done. I saw you made graph, made bar charts. That's good. We can quickly add that one to what we are doing. Okay, the next one reads that we insert row on the top and create title bearing only your full name in capital letter. So as we have here, we want to insert a row. If you want to insert a row, we'll click the preceding row, the row that's supposed to precede what we want. Then we insert. Then we have our row. Then we're expected, okay, It's not merged though, but the grid line is not there. So let's merge it. So the margin is supposed not to go beyond the bands of the table. So let's click on merge and center. Merged. Then whatever we type, we'll start from the center. So my name is just highlighted it. Then I want it bold. I want it bold. I want it bold. I want it bigger. Higher font size. Wow. The height of my cell, the height of my row cannot bear that big stuff. But I can alter the height of my, I can alter the height. Where do we go to alter the height? Just click it. Okay. So just click out. It has adjusted itself. Okay, that's good. So let's select the area we want to fill with colorful theme.
Hello, excuse me.
Okay, sir.
Please, how did you alter the size of the row?
It did the altering automatically according to the font size. But in case it did not happen, there is a place where we can alter the height. Just alter the height to what we desire. That's what I wanted. Okay, so let's have a color here. Okay. So let's plot a graph. Let's plot a line graph and the bar charts. Working with let's put everything we have here. Let's put everything on a line graph. It's going to look very, very cumbersome. No. This weight is going to scatter it because the difference is much. So let's just stay here. Okay, let's learn from it. So let's assume we are not aware. But because if you see the differences in the value is quite large. In this place, we have 66,000, and in this place, we have 0.9, 1 point, whatever. So by the time we're going to have the graph, it's going to look seriously funny because of the difference in the highest value and the lowest value. So let's insert. So we can insert our charts in this environment, but many times Excel will always give us a recommended chart. So let's click to see the chart is recommending for us. Oh, it's going to look very fun. Doesn't make sense. Okay, let's see what. Wow. So we have all the 19 records, number 1 to 19. These are the true representation. Can't understand. So it's not giving us a. Okay, let's check on line graph. Okay, the lesson we are learning from here is this. Because the differences is quite large. If you look at this, let me show you something. If you look at this graph very well, realize that on this line, the counting on the vertical axis started from, it starts from 0. And all the values start counting from 0. Unfortunately, immediately after 0, what's the next value? 1,000. And the only column where we have our values in thousands is only in weight. That's the reason why it appears as if it's only weight that is being plotted. Whereas other line graphs are more or less like embedded between 0 and 0 point whatever on this horizontal line. So the lesson to learn from this place is the fact that it's not a wisdom to plot values that are wide apart on the same chart together. It's not wise. The reason is because if counting starts from 0, it's going to keep all the values that are close to 0 almost very, very immediately after the horizontal line. Because the Excel will want to create a space, we want to create an expression, a plot for the highest value as well. So it's always advisable that we select. In this situation, who can advise? What are we expected to do? In order to have all the values, on this graph, what is the advice? What are we expected to do? So you can unmute and give us advice. Hello? So let someone advise. What are we expected to do in order to have other graph? Okay, simply what we are expected to do is to do something to this weight in gram that has highest value, alter it or manipulate it in a way that the value, the output value will be close to other values that we have here. Which, for example, you can change the units. We can change the units from gram to kilogram. If you change the units from gram to kilogram, it's going to keep the value closer to the other values that we have on other columns, other variables. So let's do that manipulation and see how far it goes. So I've removed the 1000 from it, and we can see other graphs coming up. And look at the vertical axis, it has reduced the maximum value on the vertical axis to 7 instead of something like 7,000 that we had the other time. So what I'm saying in essence is that the lesson I want us to learn is that if you will have more than one variable, or you have 2, 3, 4 variables together on a particular graph, ensure that the values are not far apart. And if the values are far apart, do something to adjust the highest value, whether in multiple. So you can say it, maybe this one is valued at 66 times 1000 gram, or something of that nature. So in order to ensure that all that graph that's supposed to appear on that platform appears. Okay, so let's assume this is what we have today. The graph doesn't look presentable. So what can we do to let's try to work on the graph and see if we can have something more presentable. Okay, first of all, what do we have on our vertical axis and what do we have on our horizontal axis? Can anyone who was not here working with us understand what we have on our graph? Okay, we know we have legend, gender, we have the different colors that represent gender, BMI, and all the stuff. But let's add more value. So we come to this place where we have big plus sign. Click on the plus sign. So let's run through it together. The first option, which are the chart elements, is axis. Axis is checked. So that's the reason why we can have vertical axis and we can have horizontal axis. But perhaps your presentation, you don't want axis to show. Let's close axis. I've unchecked axis. We can realize that vertical axis had disappeared. It's only keeping the lines of the values that we have on our graph available. But we realize that no, we need to have measures, something metric on the vertical axis. Then we check the axis that we want that axis to be there. Also, we have vertical axis and horizontal axis coming up. So what are the options on the axis? What are the things we can manipulate? Okay, maybe we'll get to that one. So axis title. So we can put title on our axis. I want to uncheck it. Please look closely beside the axis. Something will pop up. You can see axis title coming up. So if you want to insert axis title, it is checked, then you can come in. What should be our axis title? Is there any name that can cover all this? So I'll call it metric. I'll call it measurements. Measurement values. So I can bold it. So I just say control B, control bold. So you have a bold. You can change the color to red as well. You have it red. Okay. So many times I don't always like the horizontal axis. Many times I always like to remove it. So let's shift this one a little so I can delete it. So if you care to put identification number here, this is axis title. You can make it identification number if you care to do that. But many times I always remove it. But I will indicate all those details in my chart title. So my chart title shows, this chart shows, what are we going to call all these stuff? Chart showing clinical parameters. Clinical parameters for outpatients, something like that. I can make it bold. Just is that I double click it and Control A to select everything, or I can just click it once and I'll click on bold. I increase the size as the case might be. So let's see if we can add another thing. So we have data label. We have data label. Let's come here. So if you click on data label, you can see the label. It's labeling all the points on the graph with their values. But if you should do that, it will make our charts very, very clumsy. So it's advisable we don't use that one, provided we have just only 2 line graph or just 2 variables on our line charts. That would have been good to have our values, I mean our data label. So you can have the data label. Let's look at the options on that data label in case of. So we can have centered. Look at the center. This is an example of center. The values will move to the center of each point. Or left, move a little away. Or right, a little to the right. Or above the point. Or below the point. Or call out. This one makes it extremely clumsy. So we can have call outs like this. So, but we are not interested in it because it's going to make our work look seriously cumbersome. So let's deactivate it. The another option is to have data table. You can see as I click on data table, you can see it has moved all the data on our Excel spreadsheet, move it under the chart. So perhaps we have just 2 variables or 3 variables. It will be very, very nice. Just click on data table and we have our table. You know, I did a work for someone over the weekend. This is what I did. Just 2 variables, no, 1 variable, but 2 records. So I just click on the data table. Very, very clean and nice under production. Then another one, you can have error bars. If your presentation would need error bar, you can click on this so that you can have the error bar. You can see the display them. Then if you need trend line, that's going to show the trend of things. you can show the trend as well. It's asking which of the variables do I need trend line for. I can select accordingly. Then you can put up or down bound. Give an example. So that is that for today. Let me remove this introduction. I think we are done with all the questions, right? Okay. Any question, please, before we close today? Do you have any question? So can we call it a date? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. We appreciate your participation thus far. Then okay, thank you. Please note, we can, as the time goes by, everyone, you are free to chat me up. If there's any question in relation to what you've learned so far, please feel free to ask questions. A number of persons do contact me to ask me a question again. That's number one. The secondly, if you have any work, any project, or what have you, you can contact my organization through myself, or you can have a chat with me so that we can work together and see how we can create a constructive set. So once again, I want to appreciate everyone. Thank you for being part of this experience. Before the first week in June, we will have updates on the new module. I mean, the next line of course, next line of training as far as Excel is concerned, so that we can prepare ourselves. We want to ensure that we make it cheap and we make it short, so that understanding and assimilation will not be too cumbersome. So thank you very much. Regards to your family, and you have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.